Hey CNC peeps, Liberty here again, and today we're going to go a little bit different, and instead of focusing on the project itself, we're looking at the pre-op and post-op, and I've made my own checklist. You know, we love the CNC project checklist for your machine. Now it's time to look at the before and after.
IDC Woodcraft.com.
Now this list is far from complete or perfect. We're working on it. So if you have anything to add, please let me know so we can make this the most comprehensive list possible to get you the perfect project. Now for this project, the inspiration came because my niece's birthday is coming up and she loves two things, Panda and Hello Kitty. So why not combine them and make something special for her? But she's not just gonna want some old cutout of Hello Kitty Panda. Let's make it epic. So, since this is an unofficial list, we don't necessarily have steps 1, 2, and 3 worked out. But generally, step 1 is either picking your design or picking your material. That's like a chicken or egg question there. Which came first? The design or the material? Then sort of step 2/step 1, design, know how big you want your design to be, figured that out in Vectrix, so now that I've got that on here, it's time for step 3. Don't worry, the setup doesn't normally and won't continue to look like this. So for you safety nuts out there, we're moving, we'll get to a better spot very soon. But we're taking the precautions we can. And now it's time to cut it out. That'll do. This list is far from perfect, but one of the things we need is knowing our material type and where we're getting it from. We'll also need some CA glue and activator for any knots that might wiggle their way out as we carve into this wood. Ready. Now for a panda bear, of course we need some white and some black paint, and then some lacquer to seal it all off. Now to keep those lines nice and crisp as best as we can, don't forget your aura mask. Beautiful project prep, especially when paint is involved. Those fine lines don't just happen by themselves. Wood like this pine here, super fuzzy. Don't forget your sanding materials. My personal favorite, sanding discs that go right on my Dremel from IDCWoodcraft.com. Once you've got your material to the size that you need it, the next step is the true prep of your piece. Going over your piece to make sure there's any imperfections that need taken care of, you take care of those. Like this board, we've got some knots. I'm gonna throw some CA glue down in that to make sure it doesn't pop out. We've got some staples. Those definitely need to come out so we don't run into those. And then since my piece in particular is a glue up, I wanna check any of those connections, make sure nothing's off center or lift it up and there's no glue left behind. Since this is pretty prepped up, I'm only gonna run a 220 over it to get a nice smooth prepped surface. But if you're anything like me and you like to upcycle, some things may take a bit more prep. So keep all of your grits of sanding in mind and in stock. Any foreign objects, just grab your pliers or your hammer, pull them on out. Next up, the knots. You should do this before sanding, that way if any glue is left behind, you can sand that right off. And this keeps them from popping out, which has happened before. I'm using thin CA glue this time. I normally stick to the thick, but I've got 1 bottle of Total Boat thin CA glue to let it soak down into those spots. Let that soak down in, and we'll sand off any excess. And if you have very little patience like me, you can use some sort of activator to spray on that and get it to dry up real fast.
And for our little imperfections, we're gonna sand those on out.
I know that this project is gonna have several layers. If you have any painting or staining or sealing before you carve, this is the time to do that. I'm gonna be starting with a white sealing, then coating it in an aura mask for the carve, and after the carve, a black paint. I've got all of my materials from beginning to end. This ensures I'm ready for the project all the way through. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten into a project and gotten to the end and look at that. I didn't have my black, or I didn't have my stain, or I didn't have my seal coat. Whatever it is, we're ready to go today. If you have more pre and post-op things that I should be thinking about in my checklist, comment them down below. Things such as, adding a keyhole so you can actually hang your project when you're done. Let's get this project prepped up. Now that the white is good and cured, I'm gonna be placing down a layer of aura mask. Now this aura mask is going to protect this white layer and then be carved out with the wood. After it's carved out, I'm throwing down another layer of white. The reason I'm doing that is because once I carve things out, we're creating fractures all around this seal. And so anything that I add to that is going to leak into those protected places. Adding another layer of white, it's going to do that pre-leaking of the correct color, and then we'll go in with the black for the high details. Like I was talking about earlier, this is one of the big parts of your prepping your project before you ever get to the machine. Because had we not thought about these steps, later on we're going to have a lot more detailed work to do when it comes to painting, or skipping out on details because that's just too much work. This saves us in the long run and gets our project ready for a perfect end. This is one of my favorite prep products when it comes to a project that's gonna have high detail or multiple paint layers. This is like a sheet of painter's tape. You're just gonna peel it off and set it down at the edge of your project. Now my roll is 12 inches across and so is my board, so it fits perfectly. But always have a knife ready to cut off the excess, and then once we get to the end, of course. Then you're just going to take a spatula or a flat edge, a credit card, anything. Make sure that edge is nice and adhered before you give this a slight pull, just a slight one. Give it a little bit of tension and go along with your spatula, getting out all those bubbles. After you've stretched it, there are gonna every once in a while be some smaller bubbles, and you can usually push a lot of those out, but once in a while you'll get this one. You can't quite get it through. And I just push past it if it becomes too much issue. Put a little cut in it, and then you can just push all that air right out. Now, if this were a lot high detailed, I might want to be a little bit more concerned about that seal and making sure it's good and airtight, but that one should be in a pretty broad area. Let's see, I can't get that last one out. Give it a little slice. And then I was able to get the one right above it. Look at that. Not necessary, but I do like to cut off the excess. Just keeps it from getting tangled or tucked in anything, especially if you're using clamps. It's not gonna then buckle and create more bubbles after you've already flushed it out. Now, unlike this prep checklist that we're working on that is focused on the entire project, post and pre, never forget your IDC router project setup checklist. This is guiding you from the design to the last carve of the bit to ensure that your machine and your carve go through the process and your project perfectly. You can get this in the description below. Every once in a while, there's a slight flaw in the tools. As you can see here, this part came up. Now, in this case, that is okay. I'm actually going to be painting the bow a different color in the end anyways, but there are some easy fixes. You can put a little glue to tape that back down. You can add in a little tape, or like right here where it missed a part, I'm just going to take my knife and cut that right down. Now we are into those post-project steps. We've got a little bit of cleanup here. I'm going to use my Dremel with a sanding brush on it to clean those up, and then we're going to apply that white sealing layer to clear up all of those cracks before we go into the next color. This is where that pre-planning comes back in again, knowing what sanding you need done. This is just a few smaller spots, so I don't want to use my large orbital sander, and since this was a prepped piece of wood, I was only having to use a 220 grit on the prepping. For this part, I'm just using a 400 grit sanding brush to knock off these fuzzies from this pine, because pine is always going to be very fuzzy, and that's going to be it for sanding. Some projects require a lot more. Knowing your grits, knowing what you'll need, and having them on hand. You can get variety packs of all sorts of sanding from all sorts of hardware stores. You can get ones that fit your orbital sander. You can get ones to go in your hand. You can get ones for your Dremel. Know what you need and have your tools on hand.
That looks so cool already. There we go.
I already know there's going to be a few spots I'm going to have to edit, but it's okay. It won't be bad. That was good. Now, while I still have a few finishing touches to do, and there's more to this project, this step is done. I think having sort of a guideline or checklist really helped me think all the way through to the end of this project to see where and when I needed to do things. Had I not done the pre-painting before carving, it would be a lot more work or impossible to get the white onto these spots. Things like that help your project go a lot more smoothly. Future Liberty here, and look at what all of that prep work and checklist turned out to be. Honestly, I couldn't have gotten to this point of completion had it not been for me going through and knowing what I needed to do and wanted to do, following each step. One step I did not factor for though, the hanging. This is a keyhole slot, which, had I factored in before, I could have just flipped the original piece of wood, carved that in, and continued on with attaching the shelf. But because I got ahead of myself and did not think about this step, I then had to butt up my project against my machine here in order to get it within the carving space. That just goes to show how important the preparation for a project and knowing what you want your end result to be is throughout the entire process. Ended up having to repair some things. Had I put it in the beginning, it'd have been smooth sailing. If you would like an actually cohesive project prep and post-op list, comment down below and comment the things that you would add to the list that you do to prepare yourself for your projects. Don't forget to get your sanding brushes in the link below to get through all of those tight spaces, smooth up all those fuzzies, and preserve the perfect image that you've just carved. If you like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. If you want to keep learning CNC tips and tricks, try this video next. Learn more now. Go to woodcraftresources.com.